Welcome into another installment of the H&H Podcast. I'm Ahmad Hicks. That's Henry Lake. It's been a while since we've seen you guys. We've been busy traveling around with sports teams and whatnot. Had a little bit of stuff going on, but we're back with a new episode. And as we are taping this episode, the Timberwolves are close to their season tipping off. Tell me what you're expecting from them this season.
I'm expecting them to, at the very least, take the next step in terms of growth in the organization, and that means not necessarily that they win more games or that they have to be thought of the team of getting back to the Western Conference Finals, but just gelling, showing chemistry, showing development with the younger players, like a Rob Dillingham, like a Terrence Shannon Jr., who I know you want to talk about. But I just think that we need to see that growth, and we need to see that continued leadership from Anthony Edwards.
Speaking of Rob Dillingham, I want to pause right there and talk about him. He's a guy that when he uses his speed to his ability and not going east and west but going north and south, he could be a very dangerous basketball player. And Chris Finch has hinted at that during this preseason. And he came out versus the Long Lions or Loons, the team from overseas. I can't really pronounce her name. But he came out, he did what he had to do. I think had dropped 17 points that game, had several assists. I mean, he was like really effective with the ball in his hands. Do you think he'll be able to translate over to the regular season?
That's a question mark. But you just hit on it, though. His speed, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
So when he understands how to utilize his speed and his change of pace, ooh,
that's what I'm saying.
We might have something that no other team in the league has. When you have guys that understand their quickness and their ability that way, and they know how to maneuver around the court and create for others. Look at John Wall. Like when John Wall came into the game, it wasn't just his physical attributes of being like tall and having a great handle and all that stuff, whatever, and just kind of like he was a guy that he wasn't like overly muscular, but he was strong enough. And Rob's a different body type, right? He's a smaller stature guy. But his speed is scary.
One player who we probably expect to play a lot this season, Terrence Shannon Jr. Yep. This is a guy who played in the playoffs last year, got some big minutes towards the end of the season. My thing is, Nickeil Alexander-Walker's gone. So someone has to step up and fill that void by playing the lockdown defender, but also being able to hit that corner three. I think Terrence Shannon Jr. is that, but is he one of those guys that needs the rock in his hands to succeed?
Yes. But I'm not concerned so much about him being a guy that's only going to be a one-way player because he understands he has to be a two-way player. So when I talked to Terrence this past summer league, because him and Rob were both there, they knew they had to be guys that had to be out there working on their games. And he said right off the bat, I'm talking about like the first game. It was like the first or second media session after a game. He says, look, I've talked to Coach. I understand that I got to defend. Nickeil was amazing, and Nickeil is somebody that we just can't replicate. He's somebody that that's kind of a loss for us, but I have to fill in the gap there. So he understands that, and him knowing that and verbalizing that shows maturity in itself.
It is. And one thing that I've loved, and speaking of maturity, is Anthony Edwards. And what Naz Reid said about him the other day, he said his overall maturation process and his willingness to bring others along, get all the young guys in the gym. He was like, it's affectionate right now. Like basically like all these guys are in love with the game. And he was like, they all stuck around in Minnesota. And that was very key because normally you see superstars that make a lot of money in the offseason. They're going somewhere warm. They're going back home and they don't come back until training camp starts. It seems like Anthony Edwards has lived in the gym in Minnesota because he wants to win that bad.
Yeah, and I think he also understands that, there's been speculation in the last couple of years in a debate about whose team this is, whether it's Cat's team or it's my team. We know it's your team. He knows it's his team now. So, there is no question about that anymore. Cat's in New York doing his thing. You're in Minnesota. You're one of the faces of the you're the face of the franchise and one of the faces of the league. And yeah, he should be around here a little bit more.
It's going to be an exciting Timberwolves season. They tip off very soon, and we'll be back next week to obviously talk about that and break down their opening night matchup and. Hopefully the stars align for this team this year. Back-to-back Western Conference Finals trips. Hopefully they can get over that hump, get to the NBA Finals. But we all know the Western Conference is loaded. Dallas just retooled. Cooper Flagg's looking amazing in preseason, so that'll be a story to watch.
I think the other thing that I do want to mention real quick before we move on is that I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how it plays out from a timeline perspective. But the the ability to develop the bigs that we acquired in the draft, that's something. And when I say acquired the bigs, I'm talking about
Yohan Berenger, Rocco Sikorsky.
Yeah. Getting those guys development. I'm not talking about like we got to see them play. Like I don't think that that's a thing right now. But we have to be preparing them in the facility and in games in which like we're just rolling through teams or we're getting rolled through where they can get a taste of it. Yeah. Because I don't think that Rudy Gobert is long for the league. Like I'm not saying that this is his final season or that he's gonna retire at the end of next year, but I think that because we know at the drop of a hat that a guy's game can kind of wane real fast. And so he's one of those players in the league, along with LeBron James, who's got the old man injury now, the sciatica. So we'll see.
Rocco Sikorsky said that the other day in a media session. He said, look, it's just going to take reps and minutes and playing with them. You don't get up to the level of speed in the NBA without playing him. Chris Finch said about Yohan Berenger that basically we just need to preach patience with him. Like he doesn't have any bad habits, bad NBA habits, so they get a chance to really teach him and tell him everything that needs to be done in the correct way. So we'll see. Those are big guys. They're not afraid to play basketball or block shots from what we understand. So it'll be interesting to see them. Now, I'd be remiss if we didn't have to talk about our Minnesota Vikings. They are coming off a bye week. They are currently 3-2 right now, kind of what people expected. 3-2, maybe should have been 4-1. But they take on the Philadelphia Eagles this week at US Bank Stadium, and we still don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. Normally on Wednesdays when I go out to media sessions, they have the starting quarterback talk. Today, both J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz are talking, so they're not giving any hints to who's going to start this weekend versus Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, who have lost back-to-back games. This is probably the perfect time to play the Eagles. But that being said, what?
Nah. I think the Eagles are about to be focused. I think
you can say that, but their offense hasn't been up to par lately.
Yeah, but I just feel like this is a scary team to face right now. I know they lost back-to-back games, but, man, they got a few extra days, too. It wasn't like they played on Sunday. They lost on Thursday against the New York Giants, who are just – like they're energized with, the Scat Man and Jackson Dart. But now I look at this a little bit differently, man. I think Philadelphia is scary because once you have Jalen Hurts – that is like, you know what, I'm under the microscope. All these folks in Philly, and you know how sports radio is there and stuff like that, whatever. And even we've seen how they responded when there was issues about the coach. Like everybody in Philadelphia was like all over the coach. So I don't know. I think that this is a scary team to face.
Look, here's my thing on this. All right. If Jalen Carter doesn't play, he missed last game versus the Giants. Big bonus for the Minnesota Vikings. But here's the thing with Jalen Hurts. Ever since he's played at Alabama, he's had problems going through his progressions and getting from maybe read 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And you're talking about Brian Flores, who's known for disguising defenses and confusing quarterbacks. If you stop the run and you keep Jalen Hurts contained and don't let him scramble right, because if he scrambles left, that you're winning. But if he scrambles right, can extend the play, that's when your defense gets in trouble. If they can keep him in the pocket and stop the run, I really don't see how the Philadelphia Eagles will have success, especially when you're talking about Isaiah Rodgers at cornerback. He's been great going up against number one receivers this year, and he's going to have the task of going up against the A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown in this offense has been struggling. Saquon Barkley, 6 carries, 30 yards last game. Like, come on now.
So,
the game before that.
Do we have any issues with Kenneth Gainwell?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do we have any issues with Bijan?
Yeah, a little bit. But let me make my argument. No Blake Cashman. Blake Cashman may be back out there this week.
I get that. I'll say it again. I think that this is the way that everybody looked at Sunday Night Football and they said, oh, no. The Chiefs are going to be prepared for the Lions. The Chiefs are going to be prepared for the Lions. I think that the Eagles are going to be prepared for us. And I'm not saying that we won't win the game, and I'm not saying that they are just going to go over and run through Brian Flores and his defense. That's not my point. I just think that this is going to be – I'll say it right now. This will be, to this particular point, the toughest matchup for this team this season.
Yeah, probably. I can agree with that. Right now, the spread is Philly -1.5. So
Philly's favored on the road after back-to-back losses.
Philly's favored on the road. Total points over/unders 43.5 right now. So they don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and they think Philly wins by 1.5 points. That's what I'm saying. That's close, man. That's close. With home field advantage, that's real close. It just depends on how well J.J. McCarthy plays at quarterback or Carson Wentz. And Jonathan Grenard came out and said the other day that basically he loves everything about J.J. And he says with this coaching staff, it's kind of hard to fail. He said we've seen Sam have success. We've seen other quarterbacks come in and have success, and I agree with him. I think you just got to let this guy get his rhythm, got to get his footwork back, and just get some confidence out there.
So you said 1.5 points?
1.5 points. Yep.
At this particular point?
As a Wednesday taping.
Watch the line move if JJ is announced as a starter. Move in the direction of Philly.
You think they go to
Don't you think?
5.5, minus 5.5?
No, I'm not saying a massive move like that.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, like, I think that if it's announced that JJ is a starter on Friday or if it comes out on Saturday, college football Saturday, it goes from 1.5 to like 2. If it's Carson Wentz, it goes from 1.5 to a point.
Over under on rushing yards for Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is a phenomenal talent, but this season he has been
under.
He's been underutilized this season. He has not had a game over 90 rushing yards this season. Do you think he gets that this weekend?
The over. Do I think that he gets 90? No. Do I think that he gets 75? Yes.
That's not winning football for the Eagles.
Okay, that's true. I'm gonna tell you who they're arguably their number one offensive target has been to this particular point.
Dallas Goedert.
Man, yeah, he's had a good season.
And I just dropped him before last game on fantasy football. He had 10 points a week before I dropped him. He had 29.5 this past week.
So I have Kraft from Green Bay. That's who I drafted. But then week 2, I needed to pick up a backup tight end. I picked up Dallas Goedert. I have both guys on my roster right now. I haven't started Kraft since like week 2.
That's interesting. Dallas Goedert may be a good matchup for Josh Metellus and them this week. We'll have to see. Jalen Hurts does love throwing the ball to his tight ends. Let's drop down a level now. Let's talk about the Minnesota Gophers. They got a come-from-behind victory this past weekend versus Purdue. Woo-hoo. Everybody keeps talking about how great of a win it was for them, but
What?
Yeah,
they lying.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Lake. That's what I've been saying. Like everyone,
I watched every single second of that game.
That's what I'm saying. I was watching it at a restaurant, and some people were like, "Why does this team like?" I won't say the suck word, but like they're like they play down to their opponents all the time. Then they win a game they aren't supposed to win, but they're like, "This is a program that should be better than what they are every year." And yet every year we see the same type of football.
But you know the thing about that is, it's not just a PJ Fleck thing. The Gophers have done that for a while.
Really?
Like they even did that with Jerry Kill, where they played down to the level of the universities and colleges that came in here and that they had to face. So I don't know what's going on. It's something in the water. But the bottom line is I'm with you 100%. That was not, I repeat, that was not.
There's your camera.
Oh, my bad. That was not a good performance against Purdue. For the majority of that game, Purdue outplayed you.
Oh, yeah.
The majority of the game, they outplayed you. And then, well, Coy being Coy, he made a play, man.
Playmakers have to make plays when it matters most.
Bailed us out.
The spread right now, Nebraska minus 8.5.
And you're at home. But now you did bring up something too off camera, like Nebraska's ranked now. Okay.
You know what PJ Fleck's record is versus ranked opponents since 2017, since he got here?
No idea.
3-18.
Ooh, that's not good. I'm gonna be in the building too.
3-18 versus ranked teams. That's been my whole knock with PJ Fleck. Yes, he has established a culture. Yes, he does have guys. 19 guys drafted into the NFL. 24 on NFL rosters on opening day this season of the NFL. Yes, he does get his players to graduate and come back and be phenomenal citizens. But my man is averaging 7 wins a year and is getting paid $6 million a year. I would think that you have to raise the bar for success here. Everyone keeps saying, well, they're winning games. They're going to bowl games. Pause. Outback Bowl was the best bowl game, and that was like his second or third year here. It was his third year here. They went 11-2. I will say his 11-win season was the first time the Gophers had won 11 games since 1904.
That was spectacular.
Yes. So you give credit where credit is due. But
and he did it with somebody else's players, too. Yeah.
And I think that says a lot because with his guys, he has not won more than 9 games. He's only won 9 games twice with his own guys, and ever since then, he's been hovering around that 6-7 win mark since I've gotten here. He got 9 the first year I was here, I believe, and then it's been like 6, 7, 7.
What's going on with Darius Taylor?
They overutilized this man at the beginning of the season. I remember
He don't look the same.
I remember a beat writer telling me, "Oh, well, he had 8 months off, and you wanted to see them close out a game and sustain a drive." It's like, my man, you're giving him 40 touches versus Buffalo. Like, you play in the Big Ten. Like, you gonna need him all season long. And that's my knock on PJ Fleck in his offense. Like, especially with the running back since I've gotten here. Mo Ibrahim, overused, 30-plus touches a game. Then you got, who knows, after Darius Taylor comes in, phenom. But it's like, you need to trust your backups. Like, in the game versus Buffalo, that was my whole argument was, let's see what the backups can do, because we are overutilizing RB1s. And RB1s take so much of a beating and then have to get their head smashed in the pass block. So it's like, how good and how durable is this guy? Well, not that durable if you're giving him 40 touches a game. Like, that's not a way to win football games. I understand PJ Fleck used to say with Mo Ibrahim, we do what we need to do to win. And if that takes 40 to 45 touches, that's what we got to do. Well, look at Mo Ibrahim now. Couldn't last in the NFL, got hurt when he got there. Now he's a coach right now. It's like he was hurt here. You are beating their bodies up right now. So I think that they have to lean on other people. Drake Lindsey has a phenomenal arm. Trust him to throw the ball a little bit more, but I just think that they need this win, man. Like, you cannot continue to lose to ranked opponents.
I was really nervous on Saturday night because they were on the verge of losing that game against Purdue.
They were.
And I was like, how do you get to a bowl game if you lose against Purdue? And in my mind, just looking at the matchup with Nebraska, I'm like, I just don't know if you win that game. And then you're starting to try to, like, look at the schedule and figure out, okay.
Guaranteed wins maybe Michigan State and Northwestern. You got Iowa after that. You got Iowa after this.
I can't even say guaranteed against Northwestern after they just beat Penn State.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, no game is a guaranteed win anymore.
No.
And then you still got number 8 Oregon that you got to go out to Eugene.
You know what I think might be a guaranteed win? And I'm not even bluffing. Wisconsin. Wisconsin's bad.
They are, and that's the last game of the season.
It's a rivalry game. I get that.
That's gonna be the game that's gonna get them 7 wins. I think they'll get 6. Well, that may be their 6th win. And then I'll have another argument about meaningless bowl games and going to bowl games that don't matter. But I'm going to save that argument for later in the season. We're going to hope that the Gophers get a win this weekend, because if they don't get a win, they're sitting at 3, and then they will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games remaining to get 3 wins to become bowl eligible. That's not saying a lot. All right, you got $6 million head coach. We want to see you competing for Big Ten championships, and he hasn't sniffed one yet.
So. Well, and the other thing, let me throw this in there too. The other thing about this is, because somebody was like, well, are you trying to throw shade at PJ? It's not necessarily shade. It's just being real.
Yeah.
Indiana.
That's my whole argument.
I mean, Kurt
Signetti came in the first 2 years, went undefeated last year until the Big Ten championship. Now got wiped, on the floor in the college football playoff.
They got there,
but they followed it up this season, undefeated, just went to Oregon, got a huge top 10 win. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? On the verge of going back to the Big Ten title. So when people always come up to me and, I go on my rants about PJ, and it's like, I don't want him to be fired, but I just want him to be better. I want him to demand more. We want to see more from this program. PJ. I like what he's doing for his players. He's a player's coach for sure. Yep. But when people say, well, what do you want? You see Kurt Signetti turning programs around? It's like you guys act like a new coach can't come in and turn things around.
We are in a mode right now in Minnesota college football where we're just settling. I think that our mindset is that PJ's the best that we can do. And I'm not knocking PJ. I'm with you. I like PJ, and I think he's a good coach and all this stuff, whatever. But I don't think that we as fans should be in a mode right now of settling and feeling like this program can't go to another level.
And
I 100% agree with you.
That's my thing. Lindsey Whalen was average when she was here as a head coach. They got rid of her, got Dawn Plitzewhite in here. Look, they were on the border of being a top 25 ranked team in the preseason right now, the Gopher women's basketball tean. They're probably going to an NCAA tournament. Ben Johnson was average, didn't have
last year if not for all the injuries.
Exactly. Ben Johnson was average. He didn't have a ton of support, didn't have a ton of NIL. Like, he had a hard time retaining his players. They got him out of here and got Nico Medved in. So it's like, you want other sports to raise the bar. Mark Coyle, you should be demanding more out of your head coach, not just one rank win versus USC last year or Penn State a couple of years ago. Like, we should be seeing more. And it's like, right now they're headed in the wrong direction. They aren't winning 8 to 9 games anymore. They're fighting to win 6 or 7.
James Franklin is sitting at home right now without a job
and just
counting $50 million.
And just went to the college football playoff last year.
And was in the Final Four.
But you know what? He couldn't beat good teams when it mattered.
Yep.
And his record versus top 10 teams was horrible. And top 25 teams was horrible. And you know whose is worse? PJ's.
Listen, here our expectations are just different.
I know.
In not a good way. They literally were on the verge of running out Ohio State's head coach, Brian Day, because he couldn't beat Michigan. They won a national championship last year, and now they're the number one team in the country again. I mean, we're different here, man.
And I think with the landscape of NIL and revenue sharing, if you're going to make a change, time is now. Like, if you want to see more, demand more, the time is now, because you don't want to fall behind the NIL game. You're right there to compete. Like, let's get to it. So, all right, so that's our rant on the Gophers football team. They play Nebraska on Fox 9 this Friday. Lead everything off with a tailgate show at 3 p.m. on Fox Local. Then at 6 p.m., we have a Gopher pregame show with Pierre Newsroom, Ron Johnson, Justin Garr, and then the game at 7 o'clock on Fox 9. So make sure you tune in to that. All right, last topic that we have to address here, the Minnesota Wild. Off to a 2-2 start thus far. Kirill Kaprizov got his bag, highest paid player.
And he's played well.
He has played really, really well.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on them thus far?
So at this particular point, they are Jekyll and Hyde. And Jekyll and Hyde in the way that, like, in one game, you feel like, okay, they're going to shut a team out. Then the very next game, they'll give up a ton of goals. And to me, I think that Wild fans need to be prepared for, and I said this on the radio show a couple of days ago, the roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
Be prepared for the roller coaster, because you're going to have weeks where one night the Wild look amazing, the next night they don't look like much. And that's just going to be an emotional roller coaster that you're going to be on. Now, Kirill's looked really good to start the year. Matt Bodie's looked really good to start the year. I guess the number one thing right now, and this is way too early, okay? We're only 4 games in, but it's something that should be a little bit concerning, is that right now they're not able to generate offense. Right now, they are getting goals on power plays, and that's it. Like, you got to be better than that. So that's the one thing. But look, we're not even a full weekend.
Right. And look, at least they're scoring on special teams. That's important, because some teams don't have the ability to score during special teams. Like, they struggle. Like, so it's a bright spot. If they can score on special teams, the goals will come. And like you said, it's the first couple of weeks of the season.
I mean, get me more than power play goals, please.
Fair argument. I can't really counter with that. Fair argument.
Hey, real quick, we lost a legend yesterday in singer D'Angelo, 51, way too young. Pancreatic cancer. I just want to say, rest in peace to D'Angelo. His real name, Michael Archer, just because, as somebody that just got to 52, and I'm very health conscious, not to say that he wasn't, that's my genre right there. Like, I think about his music and how soulful it was and how much of a creator he was, man. That guy's going to be missed. And the outpouring of support and love in social media about him yesterday, that was just... It made you feel a certain way.
It was, and I didn't grow up in his era of music, but my parents obviously listened to him. My significant other, Simone, she's a big fan.
Yep.
And, I know a couple of popular songs for him. So like you said, health is important. And I know a lot of people around our age, they take health for granted, and they think that everything will be okay. So kind of like Lake said, take care of your body, get your checkups, do all those things that, mom and dad's been telling us to do forever.
And I think another thing that I do want to tell people is that I think that this is another situation where it surprised everybody because nobody knew that he was sick. But you have to, and it took me back to when Chadwick Boseman died, and nobody knew that he had cancer. I bring this up just because I feel like right now we have to be cognizant of the people that we deal with, that we actually know, the friends that we have, the colleagues that we have. Not everybody wants to be public about every battle that they have in their life. They want to be private about stuff, and you have to be accepting of that.
For sure.
And there's going to be situations like this that'll catch us all off guard, but it isn't about us. It's about how they wanted to deal with their situation.
Strong words right there from Lake. That'll be a great way to close out this week's episode of the H&H Podcast. I'm Ahmad Hicks. That's Henry Lake. Make sure you tune in next week. We're going to see if the Gophers football team get that big rank win, and we're going to see who starts at quarterback for the Vikings, and I'm sure there will be plenty to talk about after that game. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow, tell a friend about us, and we'll be back next week for another episode.